All right, we're back with President George W. Bush. The new book, Decision, points out today, Mr. President, the softball questions are over. Now we move in. Are you using a teleprompter on your book tour?
No. I just finished, actually, you don't need a teleprompter when you sit and sign books. And I just finished signing, I think, like 2,400 books here in Dallas.
2,400 books?
Yeah.
Well,
people seem interested. I hope not only supporters but critics, read the book. I just want people to understand what it was like. And,
well, you said that you enjoy being out of the news. I can help you.
Yeah, get back in it or stay out of it.
No, just keep telling the truth, and they'll ignore you. You can say, look, your tax cuts are set to expire the end of this year. What should happen?
Well, if one is interested in job creation, it is important to understand that 70% of new jobs are created by small businesses. And many small businesses pay personal income tax because they're subchapter S or limited partnerships. And if rates go up on small businesses, it'll be harder to create jobs. So I think you ought to keep them low.
All right. What about the Arizona immigration law? What's your thoughts on that?
My thought on that is now you see you're trying to get me to make news. I don't want to make news. I want to sell books, of course. And I think
well, you can do both at the same time. I'm an expert at it.
I think the federal government ought to have a comprehensive immigration law, and the fact there isn't one caused Arizona to react. And as you know, I laid out a comprehensive plan that I believed would work when I was president. I still believe it'll work. And in the book, I talk about that decision to try to get legislation passed.
What was the objective of that legislation? What were you trying to accomplish with your comprehensive immigration reform? Because many people thought it was amnesty, and that's why they opposed it.
No, I know, and that's what happens a lot of times. These issues get labeled, and and people react poorly. I couldn't have said it more plainly. I was against amnesty. No, and I don't know many people who are for amnesty when it comes time to comprehensive reform. I'm sure there's some, but all that would do, if you granted amnesty, would encourage the next wave to come. I was trying to basically recognize that our economy required immigrants to work. I mean, there's a lot of jobs Americans won't do, and therefore there needed to be an orderly, legal way for people to come and work on a temporary basis. And that if you had paid your taxes and been here for a while and were a good citizen, you had a chance to become a citizen, but you had to get at the back of a line. And so it was a plan that I felt addressed the issue in a good way. There is no plan. There obviously is no plan, a comprehensive plan yet, and therefore states like Arizona reacted.
But the politics of it, though, many people feared the Democrats simply wanted to register all these people as new Democrat voters. They weren't concerned about any compassion. They weren't concerned about labor markets or any of that. They just saw an avenue for more Democrat votes and a registration. And when Republicans are going along with it, people are pulling their hair out saying, why do we want to help the Democrats in their political efforts?
No, I know. Look, a lot of people view things through a political lens. I thought it was good policy, though. And not all Democrats were for it on Capitol Hill either, I might add. Anyway, it's still an issue and it needs to be solved at some point in time. Tea
Party. What's your reaction?
Well, I think that democracy works, and people became frustrated, showed up, and participated in the process. That to me, that's healthy when people participate in democracy. The worst thing that can happen in our system is people are frustrated and don't participate. But a lot of people participated. I also watched the Tea Party's type movement in 1992, so this is nothing new for me. Remember when there was a lot of frustration in the political system, and there was a third-party candidate who ran for president in 92, Ross Perot, and I believe it affected the election when it came time to my dad's reelection, but there was a lot of anxiety in the system then as well. It is healthy for our society if people feel anxiety and frustration that they participate, that they show up. And what's really unhealthy is if there's frustration and people do nothing, so it was a very interesting political year.
I want to give you a chance to comment on something. there are stories going around that do not quote you, that quote associates or friends, saying that you are telling them Sarah Palin was a bad choice by Senator McCain to be vice president, and that she...
I had never said that, of course, nor have I read it about it. I'm not going to comment on anybody who might be running for president, but that's what happens in today's world, is blogosphere. People get to hide behind some code name or something. They toss out a gossip and rumor and floats around the internet. I never said that, never would have said that.
What do you want people to know about you and your presidency that they don't know? What's in this book that you think will surprise people?
Oh, gosh, I think it'll surprise people that I deliberated long and hard about a lot of issues, that I weighed different people's opinions, that I was very deliberate when it came time to committing our troops. I tried to give diplomacy a chance. And I think people will learn that I've got a decent sense of humor, and I hope they already know that I've got a set of values I wouldn't trade out for politics. And I hope they know that I was honored to serve our country, that I really love America, and to be the president of a country you love is a huge honor.
Privatizing Social Security. I meant to ask you this when you mentioned it earlier. This is one of your hallmarks of the second term. You tried to get this done. It's always been said the third rail. Even today, with your book coming out, the Democrats are attacking you on this. You didn't want to reform the whole thing. You just wanted to give people a stake in it.
Yeah, that's a code word, privatization. That's obviously a poll-tested word, and so all I said was, younger workers ought to have a chance to set aside some of their money in an account that earns a better rate of return than their money in the Social Security Trust Fund. And why I thought that was important is, one, it's voluntary. Secondly, it'll give a waitress in a restaurant a chance to own an asset that he or she can pass on, or she in this case can pass on to her families. I mean, there's a lot of people in our society who have no assets. And I felt like this would be a substantive reform that would be positive. And, of course, by having a defined contribution plan as opposed to a defined benefit plan, you're taking power away from people in Washington, and that created a lot of angst. And one of these days, people are going to reform Social Security, and I was pleased to lay out a solution.
Former President Bush, it's great to have you on the program. It always is. Good luck with the book. You got a busy couple of months ahead of you with this, taking you through the Christmas season with it, and I thank you for your time here. It's always a pleasure to have you with us.
Rush, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate your time.
You bet. Former President Bush is on the phone with us from Texas, and he does say that countless people miss him, which we knew would be the case. Thanks again for your time, sir. We will be back and continue. Your phone calls are next on the EIB network right after this.